Hi guys, just FPL here. Welcome back to another video. So in this video, I'll be talking you guys through my game week 1 team. So basically, we are getting very close to the game week 1 deadline, and I think we all have a rough idea of how we want to start the season, what formation we are going to use, and our captaincy and all that. And I do have a lot of 50-50 calls to make, and those 50-50 calls are very important. It could just decide your season, and because you could either end up as the better side of the 50-50 or the worst side. So there is a lot of 50-50 calls, and I have two main drafts, and it's just there's quite similar players, it's just with different formations. But I really like this draft, and I'm going to talk you guys through it. It's, I think, the closest I will be to my game week 1 team, and in my opinion, this is the best draft I have made so far. So let me talk you guys through it, and let's get started. So in goal, let's start with Martinelli. Now, Martinelli, his Leeds have not been the best defensively last season. They did drop off when under new manager Jesse March, and Bielsa wasn't the greatest manager last season. He got sacked and a new manager came in. They had to shift the formations, and it was a change in tactics. But I feel, looking at those first few fixtures, Wolves, Southampton, Chelsea, Brighton, Everton, Brentford, Nottingham Forest. Now, I'm planning to wildcard during game week 8, 9, 10. You could say 7, 8, 9, 10 during that period, because we do have to play our second wildcard. Not second wildcard, but we do have kind of like a second wildcard during the World Cup period. So I do want to roughly play my wildcard here, because of course get the team value up and build upon that. So those fixtures, if I'm looking at those fixtures, I see at least 3 clean sheets. Even if he doesn't get 3 clean sheets, he could give you those save points, and he's that kind of keeper who makes a lot of saves and gets a lot of save points. And if leads 1 clean sheet, a few save points, he gets those bonus points. That's a double digit haul. And look, it's easy to get double digit haul for a keeper. You get 1 clean sheet. And look, Wolves have been a very defensive side last season. I'm not saying they will guarantee keep a clean sheet there, but it's a possibility to get a clean sheet against Wolves. Southampton haven't been, not making much improvements. They have made some signings, like young signings, but they haven't made improvements around their squad. And then you have Brighton, again, another defensive side, Everton, Brentford, Nottingham Forest. So those fixtures, I see 3 clean sheets, 3 to 4, maybe even 2 or 3. I'll be happy at least 2 clean sheets or more, because those fixtures look really good. And I think Martinelli, 1 clean sheet, a save points, he gets bonus points, and that's a double digit haul. So that's why I'm playing, and it's a short-term keeper. It's not a keeper you want to keep for 10 to 11 game weeks. So it's a cheap keeper. I don't really like the 5.5 keepers and the 5 mil keepers. I think the 0.5 or 1 mil could come a long way elsewhere. So I love Martinelli, and I think he's the best 4.5 keeper. Now let's talk about my Liverpool players. Trent and Salah, I think it's, unless injuries or anything, I think they will be my game week 1 draft. It's not an argument. They will be in it. They are the most secured 2 players in my team, and hopefully throughout the season, if no injuries come. Now, the third Liverpool slot is, it could be anyone. It could be, your personal preference. Darwin Núñez have come up since the last video I made. He's got a goal in the Community Shield, and everyone is going on to him. So I don't think I'm going for him. I think I don't see myself going for Darwin, because for 1 mil cheaper you get Gabriel Jesus, and to be fair, there is a lot better options for him. And Robertson, in my opinion, offers the best value for the Liverpool players. Now, it's not about individual. Of course, you have to think about the combinations, but I have in my draft Robertson. It's like, will you prefer Robertson and Bailly, or 4.5 or 5 mil defender, a Zinchenko, and a 8 mil midfielder? Now, I'm going to talk more about the 8 mil midfielders and talk more about it later, but currently we are talking about Robertson. Now, again, I really love the defenders this season. I think, in my opinion, it's very easy to get double digit hauls. Those fullbacks, in the modern game, fullbacks are very important to every manager's tactics, and we've seen it before. Joao Cancello, Perisic, Robertson, Trent, Reece James, Ben Chilwell, these players have been crucial in those tactics. So in the Community Shield, Robertson, during some times of the games, he has been more advanced than Luis Diaz. He's going in the box. He's, those far posts, those rebounds. He will be there, and he's got a goal in the Community Shield, a goal or assist, I forgot, but he's gotten something, and we've seen it already. And now I'm leaning towards Robertson over Diaz. Now, a lot of people pick Diaz is because they think he's the next Mane, and there is a lot of 8 mil midfielders, so the flexibility is there. But look, with this draft, I could get to an 8 mil midfielder with 2 moves as well. So I'm really, favoring Robertson. Now, those first few fixtures, Fulham, a newly promoted side. Liverpool always do well against a newly promoted side. I see Liverpool getting a clean sheet and possibly Robertson an assist. Now, how I look at things when it's kind of 50-50, Robertson needs a clean sheet and an attacking return to get double digits. Luis Diaz needs, if he gets a goal, he'll get 7 points, 6 points. But if Robertson gets a goal, he will be up for bonus points, and if he gets the clean sheet, that's 11 to 12 points. So that's how I look at things. Of course, Luis Diaz is a brilliant option as well. His underlying data is really good. But Robertson, in my opinion, a premium defender. I really love Robertson now. Next, we do have our Man City players. Now we have Erling Haaland and João Cancello. I think Cancello will be in my Game Week 1 team, unless injuries. But Erling Haaland is an interesting one. You have Harry Kane there, and you have a lot of options for the premium. You have, Heung-min Son or De Bruyne, but I really love the premium attackers because you have like players like Jamie Vardy at 9.5, Darwin Núñez, of course, if you want to go there at 9 mil. So we could downgrade and we could upgrade elsewhere as well. So there is also a lot of flexibility. If Haaland gets injured, which he's injury prone, and Kane picks up form, it's very easy for me to go to Kane. But if I had a midfield premium, it's hard for me to go for attacking premium. So I'm very liking Haaland now. And again, the ownership I do think the 50-50 was Kane versus Haaland. And the ownership did favor in the side of Haaland because, of course, in my opinion, starting with Kane, I really love because Southampton at home, and we get to see how Haaland performs against West Ham because, of course, the fixture everyone is targeting with City is, of course, the Game Week 2 fixture against Bournemouth at home. So I'm favoring towards Haaland currently. And because of the ownership, I think Pep has come out and said that he will fit in with the tactics. And during the Community Shield, he played full 90 minutes. So I think Pep was satisfied to give him minutes, and I think he will get minutes throughout the season. So currently I'm on Haaland, but I won't be surprised if I go for Harry Kane. And next we have Cancello here. So Cancello, again, I think the ownership is brilliant, and he offers great value at his price, in my opinion. At 7 mil, he's a really good option because at 1 mil cheaper, some people go for Diaz, but I think you paying the extra 1 mil, you get a player who's technically like a second winger for Man City. He's gotten a number 7 jersey, and City haven't signed a fullback. Now, Cucurella is closer, has been heavily linked to Chelsea, and City looked to walk away from the deal. So as things stand, City will start with 2 fullbacks, which is Cancello and Kyle Walker. Of course, you have Nathan Ake or John Stones who can play there, but in my opinion, they will play those 2 at the start of the season. So Cancello offers great value at 7 mil. He's number 7 jersey. It just shows how important and crucial he will be in Pep's tactics, and I think he's a locked in my team as well. Next, we do have Ivan Perisic. Now, he's coming in my draft. He just came in because during the preseason, their last preseason game for Tottenham, he's gotten 70 minutes. He started the game and he's gotten 70 minutes. And the game before that, he gotten 30 minutes. So Conte is giving him minutes, and I think he will be starting the season. In my opinion, Spurs will line up as Doherty and Perisic as the starting fullbacks because, of course, the last game of preseason gives us a rough idea of how the manager wants to line up for their first game of the season. So Perisic, has come into my drafts, and Santa at home game, his ownership has come down, and in my opinion, at 5.5 mil, he offers great value. His underlying data is better than Cancello and Robertson, but of course, he is getting older, and he's one of the older fullbacks, so he will get subbed off, and I fully understand that he will get subbed off. I have him in my team with a reason. That reason is because he has great underlying data, and I'm okay with him getting subbed off because again, we want him to get subbed off during the 60-minute mark, of course, to secure the clean sheet. But if he gets subbed off later or earlier, we could see that as well, and he could get 1 pointers. But also, there is that again, he could get either 1 point or 18 point. It's like Reece James. He has that potential in him. He's gotten really good underlying data in the Serie A last season. He's getting older, and I think he will get subbed off. But for now, at the start of the season, I would want to start with him now. When Champions League football comes into play, I think I will look to ship him out. But of course, the Champions League the match day 1 of the Champions League, the group stages, starts around 6 to 7 September. So that is until game week 6 and 7, around that period. So until game week 6, I'm happy to keep him. And as we look at their fixtures, during game week 6, their fixtures does look tougher. They play Fulham, of course, but 7 Man City, 8 Leicester, and 9 Arsenal. So we could look to sell him there, but currently we are planning for the first 8 to 9 game weeks, and I'm very happy to keep him. He offers great value, and of course, Conte did come out and say that he did say some good things and also some bad things about him. But of course, I think he will start the season, and he offers great value at 5.5. Next, we do have Reece James. Now again, he's back in my team. I did make some few drafts without him, but again, the ownership does come into play. Now, if you're telling me which players I think will score the most points, and I think the players who will score the most points are the defenders. In my opinion, they offer the best value at their price point. Like, would you rather have a 7 mil midfielder and a 4 mil defender, or a 7 mil defender and a 4.5 mil midfielder? So it's something like that. And again, the theory of me going for 5 at the back is these fullbacks are playing in systems where they are very important to their team, and it just takes an attacking return and a clean sheet to get again double-digit points. They will get those massive hauls, and they have this season the fixtures. It's just the good teams get the good fixtures, and the bad teams just get really poor fixtures. So that this big at the back formation I really love. All the defenders offers great value, and I think I will be looking to play 5 at the back. Of course, there are disadvantages, and let me continue with the team. Next, we do have our Arsenal players Martinelli and Gabriel Jesus. Gabriel Jesus is locked in my team. FPL, in my opinion, have underpriced Gabriel Jesus. Look at the ownership, 71.2%. It's mental ownership, to be fair, and I think he is the second highest owned player in FPL history, I think, behind Mohamed Salah last year. So at 8 mil, he offers great value, and not just that, at 8 mil, you look around his price points, he's being priced similar to forwards like Havertz, Antonio, Bamford, Watkins, Wilson. He's playing for a top 6 side, which has looked really well in preseason. 6-0 against Sevilla is mental, and he scored hat-trick as well. But of course, a lot of people have said Saka looked on pens, and an interesting fact is that the previous 4 pens Arsenal have won, all the players that have won the pen took the pen. So that could be the reasoning behind who's taking the pen. But of course, Gabriel Jesus is one of those players who could take a pen. He's a good solid penalty taker, and his underlying data is just so good. It's on another level, and for his price point, it's way too cheap, in my opinion. And then you have Martinelli. Again, I think Arsenal players are underpriced this season. 6 mil Martinelli. If he secures a guaranteed spot in the Arsenal team, which Emily Smith-Rowe hasn't gotten minutes in preseason for Arsenal, so it is looking likely that Martinelli will start as the season as Arsenal first choice winger, and I'm completely fine with that. I think he will be. His data suggested that he will be the best option at his price point. And of course, the data is per 90, so if he gets 90 minutes, and even if he doesn't get 90 minutes, if he starts, I think if he gets a decent game, he will get to 70, 80 minutes. If he has a poor game, you're not going to sub him out during halftime. I think the minimum you will wait until the 60 or 50-minute mark to sub him out. And so, yeah, that is the thing. And about the substitutes, the 5 sub rules. So if he starts, in my opinion, I think he will play to the 50-60-minute mark to get those chances. And if he doesn't start, I think he has the possibility to come on. So the first few fixtures, Arsenal fixtures, just look way too good. I think you could just start them until game week 8, 9, you could say. And their fixtures look really good, and from attacking and defensive point of view. So I'm very happy to have Martinelli in my team. 6 mil offers great value. Now the first 2 fixtures for Arsenal, I won't say they are green fixtures. I won't say they are great fixtures, because Crystal Palace have been really good defensively last season, and they have been the top 6. They have been ranked top 6 defense last season, so they are a tough team to break down. And then you have Leicester, which we don't know what to expect from them. We could expect the poor Leicester last season, or we could expect a really strong Leicester. So we don't know what to expect from those first 2 games, but after that, the fixtures look quite good from that. So I want to keep these Arsenal players because I won't have to rotate these Arsenal players, and could just keep them in my team. And lastly, in the first 11, we do have Pedro Natto. Now, every draft I made, he was in there. With Jimenez getting injured, you could make an argument saying Podence, you could go for Huang, Morgan, Gibbs White, you could go for. But I think Neto, his stats, data is just way better than all these other players. He will get minutes. I think he can play left wing, right wing, up front, through the middle as well. So he's very flexible and he could play a lot of positions. So at 5.5, I think he will start the season. He will start majority of games at the start of season, and then he offers great value at 5.5 in my opinion. He will be my Game Week 1 team. I think it's not a question. He will be secured, and Wolves do have really good fixtures for the first 6 game weeks. Of course, they do have Spurs in there, which I will talk more about my bench because they do rotate well with Pedro Natto. Now, let's start off with Ward on my bench. Now, it could be the backup keeper for Leeds. I think it's Clayson, but I've gone with Ward because Schmeichel is likely to leave this week. Maybe throughout the week, maybe later on during this week. And Ward, as things stand, if Leicester don't sign a keeper, Brendan Rodgers or some leaked information have come out and said Ward is the favorable option in goal. And for a 4 mil starting keeper for a Leicester team who could improve defensively this season, of course, no injuries, Wesley Fofana, these players are back. We could see Leicester challenging for Europe, and for top 8 side next season, and for 4 mil keeper, I think he offers great value. And he also rotates well with Meslier. Meslier plays Chelsea away game week 3, and Ward plays Southampton at home. So if he still come game week 3, if he still is the starting keeper, I could just play Ward, and he rotates perfectly well. So currently I have Ward, but if Leicester go out and sign a backup starting keeper, maybe I shift to Clarkson. Next we have Bailly. Now this is the interesting one because I want a bench option. I'm a big fan of having at least one bench option. And Bailly, it's like similar. He is similar to a 4.5 defender. And of course I back the attacker. If you're talking about budget midfielders and defenders, if I'm looking at the list from defenders, most of them are centre backs. So I do favor Bailly, and I have heard a lot saying that I think Bailly will start the opponent game. I think he will start the Bournemouth game depending on what formation tactics Steven Gerrard use. If they decide to go with a 2 up front, we could see Danny Ings. But if they decide to go with like a 2 attacking midfielder behind the striker, Bailly starts for me then. So currently, Bailly is in my team. I'm really happy with him because at 5.5, at 5 mil, he's a great bench option. And if he doesn't start the first few fixtures, I could just keep him on my bench. It's not like a 5.5 or 6 mil midfielder, so I'm happy to keep him on my bench. And he offers great cover for players like, let's say Perisic if he doesn't start, Reece James, because Reece James and then Martinelli, Haaland if sometimes. So he offers great cover, and worst case scenario, he could come on Bournemouth away. Now, every player in my first 11, I really like their fixtures, so I don't know who to take out. And I really want to play him, but all those fixtures in my first 11 look so good. So I will look to play my first 11, but of course, if he comes off my bench, I will be happy as well. Now, Leon Bailey, he was injured a lot last season, so you could not just say last season's data. They play Bournemouth, Everton, Crystal Palace, and West Ham. So when Neto plays Tottenham game week 3, I could play Leon Bailey, against Crystal Palace away. So he offers great cover, and also he rotates well with my other mid-price midfielder, Pedro Natto, and he offers great cover. I think at 5 mil, he's just great value, and depending on what formation Steven Gerrard play, I think he will be the best 5 mil midfielders. There's a lot midfielders around that price, but 5 mil, I just see me going for him. He's, I think, the best midfielder around his price, and a lot of people have him in their teams. So again, he's like a starter, but I have him on my bench just for a backup. Next we have Andreas Pereira. Not much to talk about him. Fulham player, a great cover, if players get injured or if, let's say, someone doesn't start. He offers great cover, and at 4.5, I think he's the best mid-price defender and midfielder. And lastly, Archer. Steven Gerrard has come out to say that he will stay with the Villa squad this season, and if he's saying that, he could have sent Archer out of loan to a championship side and get him minutes. But when Steven Gerrard comes out and say that, means he is part of Steven Gerrard's plan, and he could get those odd 1 points to come on the bench, but he will just be most of the time my third bench option, and he also offers great cover in case. So this is my team. Now I will talk you guys through the disadvantages of this team. Is there is no 8 mil midfielders. Now let me give you guys my opinion on the 8 mil midfielders. Now I could go for Luis Diaz and play a 4-4-2 and shift things around. Go James down to Nico Williams, take the 0.5 out Bailey, and then upgrade someone like a Martinelli to a Luis Diaz. But now I don't really like the sound of the Luis Diaz draft, and I could shift to a draft with an 8 mil mid come game week 1. Now the one pure reason I would shift to that is because of the ownership of Luis Diaz. 24.2% ownership is just mental. It's crazy amount of ownership, and Luis Diaz, I think he offers great value, but individually against Robertson, I think the combination, I prefer Robertson to him. Now Foden and Mahrez around the 8 mil spot, I don't see myself going near the City midfielders. I think they just have too much rotational risk. I don't see myself going for them, and even if they do start, even if Mahrez scores a hat-trick game in 1, I won't go there because he will be a rotational risk, and I don't see me going there. Then you have Kulusevski, which Richarlison is coming in now. In my opinion, I think Kulusevski will start most of the games, but it's how many minutes he gets. If he performs poorly, he will get taken out, and for someone like a Richarlison, Lucas Moura. But if he performs well, he could, maybe just play full 90. But I think he will start. He will start most of the games, but it's just how long he gets minutes in the game. So I don't look at myself going for Kulusevski. Then Maddison, rumored to a move to Newcastle. Even if he moves to Newcastle, I don't know, I will go for him. Those Leicester fixtures, I'm not satisfied by those fixtures they played. Their fixtures look quite tough. Then Mason Mount, Chelsea's preseason doesn't look convincing. Saka, I already have Martinelli and Jesus, and I think they offer better value than Saka, so I won't see myself going for Saka. I won't even try to triple up on the Arsenal's attack. So I've talked to you guys through all the 8 mil mids and why I don't want them. So they could punish me, but currently I'm sitting with a team with no 8 mil mid, and I'm really happy with this team. So let me know what you guys think about this team. I will be posting another team selection video come closer to the game week 1 deadline. But currently, this is my draft. A few changes could be made, but I think this is roughly what I have and what I will roughly start with. So it's been me, Just FPL, and I'll see you guys in the next one.